Let's start with a crazy thought experiment. What if, right now, the entire planet just stopped? I mean, a full dead stop. It's a wild idea, but the answer? Well, it's way more terrifying and, honestly, fascinating than you can probably imagine. So, let's get into it.
Yeah, you heard that right. It's kind of hard to believe, but as you're sitting there, you are whipping through space at over 1,000 miles an hour. Think of the Earth like a car going at full speed. Now, what happens if someone just slams on the brakes? The result is nothing short of absolute, total chaos.
Okay, but before we jump straight into the disaster movie stuff, we've got to understand what we'd be losing in the first place. See, the Earth's spin is this silent, invisible force that we completely take for granted. But it's the very thing that makes our world, well, our world.
That's the speed we're talking about at the equator, over 1,000 miles per hour. That is literally faster than the speed of sound. Just let that sink in for a second. Our entire planet is spinning at supersonic speeds, and all of us are just casually along for the ride.
So why don't you feel like you're being thrown around in some kind of cosmic blender? It all comes down to momentum. Everything, and I mean everything, the atmosphere you're breathing right now, the oceans, the buildings, you, me, it's all spinning together at the exact same speed. It's kind of the ultimate we're all in this together situation, planet style.
And because of that, our planet exists in this beautiful, perfect rhythm. The spin isn't just about movement, it's what gives us our stability. It's the engine that keeps everything running smoothly.
So what's this spin actually doing for us? Well, for starters, it gives us day and night, the basic rhythm of all life. It drives our weather systems, creates ocean currents, it even physically holds the oceans in place. Basically, it creates the predictable, livable world we all depend on. That's what's at stake here.
All right, now for the main event. Let's really imagine it. The Earth just slams on the brakes. The chaos in just the first few seconds it's almost impossible to fully picture. This is all about one word: inertia. The planet itself might stop, but everything on it? Nope. Every person, building, tree, and rock would keep right on going at that original speed, over 1,000 miles an hour. You wouldn't just fall over, you'd be launched sideways into the horizon. And it's not just the solid stuff. The entire atmosphere, also moving at that incredible speed, would just keep going. This would create winds that would scour the entire surface of the planet. We're talking about a global windstorm that makes a Category 5 hurricane look like a light breeze. So let's just run through the instant effects. Bam, bam, bam. First, you have catastrophic inertia, flinging everything sideways. Second, those insane winds just erase the landscape. Third, the stress on the planet's crust would trigger earthquakes and volcanoes everywhere on a scale we have never, ever seen. And fourth, near the equator where the speed is fastest, survival is simply not possible. But hey, let's say you somehow survived being launched into next week. Well, you'd immediately have a brand new problem, because now all of the world's oceans are on the move. And that is a whole other level of disaster.
Okay, so here's the science bit. The spinning of the Earth creates a centrifugal force that causes all the ocean water to kind of pile up around the middle of the planet. It's called an equatorial bulge. Imagine spinning a water balloon. See how it gets wider in the middle? That's what our oceans are doing on a massive scale.
So what happens when you stop spinning that water balloon? The bulge just collapses. All of that water would have nowhere else to go. It would rush away from the equator and towards the poles in what would be a single planet-sized tsunami.
The end result? A completely new world map. You'd have a new megacontinent rising up all along the equator and two gigantic new oceans forming at the north and south poles, just swallowing up everything in their path. Forget worried about rising sea levels, we're talking about entire continents just gone. And the long-term changes are, believe it or not, just as bad. Without that daily spin, our whole idea of day and night is gone. Forever. Instead, we'd be locked into a pretty grim new cycle.
See, the Earth would still be orbiting the Sun, so one side would be stuck facing the Sun for 6 straight months, and then the other side would get its turn for 6 months of total darkness. You'd have a planet of two extremes, a world of fire and a world of ice.
Let's break that down. On the sun-facing side, temperatures would just keep climbing, high enough to boil the oceans away and bake the land completely sterile. Meanwhile, on the dark side,
you'd have an endless freezing night, with temperatures dropping to absolutely unsurvivable lows. Nothing, not plants, not animals, not us, could live in either environment.
And if you thought it couldn't get any worse, it does. There's one last critical defense system that our planet's spin provides. And without it, we are completely and utterly exposed. Deep inside our planet, there's a spinning, molten iron core. This acts like a giant engine, or a dynamo, that generates a powerful magnetic field all around us. You can't see it, but this field is our shield. It protects us from all the deadly cosmic rays and solar radiation flying at us from the sun.
So if the spin stops, that engine fails. Our magnetic shield would get super weak or maybe just disappear altogether. Harmful radiation would just pour down onto the planet, basically frying any life that might have miraculously survived everything else.
So when you really add it all up, the insane inertia, the planet's scouring winds, the global tsunamis, the crazy temperatures, and then the lethal radiation, the conclusion is pretty stark. If the Earth suddenly stopped spinning, it wouldn't just be a bad day. It would be the end of almost everything.
Now, for the good news, there's no known force in the universe that could just stop the Earth dead in its tracks like this. So, we can all breathe a little easier. But thinking through this stuff really does something important. It shows you just how incredible and how perfectly, delicately balanced our world really is.
Exploring these cosmic what-ifs really gives you a new appreciation for the amazing planet we call home. If you enjoyed this little trip into the impossible, go ahead and show some support. It lets us keep diving into more of these mind-bending questions.
And that brings me to my final question for you. We've just imagined what would happen if the Earth stopped spinning. So, what crazy cosmic scenario should we explore next? Drop your best ideas in the comments below.